My sister and family were visiting for a week. We hoped with their help to get a lot of work done, but there would also be outings.
One such outing was a visit to the Ile de Neuilly Foire d'automne, an autumn fair with over 300 stalls selling almost anything you could want and many things you didn't know you wanted. I was keeping an eye out for matching bedside tables. I knew what I wanted and was astonished when I found them. More on that in a later episode. Meanwhile, Rory was drawn to tools and sharp objects. Good for defending the chateau from a zombie attack, maybe?
I wasn't looking for anything in particular, but when Jane pointed out an old toilet for sale, that was it. I had to have it. Which leads me on to this. This is my purchase of the week. As mentioned, Jane spotted this, and once I'd seen it, I knew I just had to have it. So what exactly is it? Well, it is a Twyford's Zone L washdown WC basin, or toilet to you and me. It has a beautiful floral pattern on a white ceramic background, and when we bought it, that was just about all we could say about it, but it's intact and there's hardly any damage on it at all. After a tiny bit of negotiation, Jane managed to barter the seller down from €80 to 70. Once home, we began to search online and fairly soon discovered a blogging website which charted the history of the Twyford's company. It included copies of ancient catalogues and various photos. We began to think that the toilet may well be over 100 years old, but I wanted definite confirmation of its age, so I sent an email to the website's author. I soon got a reply from Terry Woolliscroft, who had a career in ceramics, including working for Twyford's for 30 years, and is now an artist, writer and website builder about pottery's culture. Terry asked me to search around the rim of the toilet for any stamped markings that might help us to date it. With Terry's help, we found out that the Zone toilet was made for several years and was one of many different styles created by Twyford's in the late 19th century. Over the years, the Zone L was sold with many different patterns, and it was hard to pin down to a specific date based on the limited information we had at the time. I found two sets of numbers stamped into the side of the rim, 94/3 and 91. Terry's reply was definitive. The first two numbers were the date, and the second set weren't numbers at all, but the maker's initials in lowercase letters. The toilet was made in March 1894 by a maker whose initials were GI or GL. Terry was also kind enough to send me some photos. This one is Thomas Twyford himself, but I think the most exciting one is this, a photo of workers on the factory floor making the toilets. It's exciting to think that there is a chance, however small, that the person that made this toilet is in that photograph. Yesterday, we were ripping up the plinths from the back kitchen. And this morning, Jane went for a shower. And it turns out that pipe we had to break to get the plinth off, which I thought was just feeding the kitchen and the overflow for the hot water cylinder under the stairs, is actually also taking away the water from the shower in the secret bathroom. Which means all of Jane's shower water went, hello Bunty, all of Jane's shower water went everywhere around here, so it's all wet. But it's soaked away, which is nice. So now I've got to try and fix this. I have a plan on how to do it. And I think what I'm going to do is reroute it. It's not the end of the world, it's a little frustrating, but it's nothing we can't deal with. It would be problem enough, however, that it meant that the first floor shower and basin were out of action for the rest of the family visit. One shower for 6 people it was. We'd started the day with a flooded floor, and it wasn't going to get any better from there. I'd also realised that the bottom step was in a much, much worse state than I first thought, and I needed to remove the whole thing to assess the extent of the damage. All this cement needs to be replaced. It's just dust. So it was sitting on a bed of its own. Rotten. Despair! Despair! Oh, and there's his hand. You be careful, Bunty. This just gets worse and worse. I've just found a lizard. Scared the hell out of me. There's a very dusty lizard down here. Hello, Mr. Lizard. Can I give you a hand? I don't think being here is in your best interest. Poor little chap. Very dusty little fellow. Let me put him in there. Maybe get some water and try and gently clean him off a bit. I gently poured some water over the little lizard, and look at those colours. It's a much cleaner little lizard, and I'm sure you'll be happier outside than in a pile of horrible old dust. Anyway, I hope you're not too traumatised by the event. All four limbs seem to work still. Welcome to Jane's Find of the Day with Jane.
Hello and welcome to this week's Find of the Day. Today I'm going to be talking about this bird sculpture. It's made of pottery, it's been glazed and fired. I'm not sure what kind of bird it is. I feel it's like a blackbird, but I couldn't swear to it. And it's got this adorable little face with its nose tucked into its chest feathers. It's all puffed up against the cold. When my daughter came to visit, Anna, she's an artist, and this is the sculpture that she particularly picked up on. She's always loved birds. I found the image, and this same sculpture has been attributed to an artist called Jean-Baptiste Gouvernet. He was born in 1885 and died in 1967. And he's relatively well known in France. He was a resident artist at the National Institute/Museum of Ceramics in Sèvres, and he did most of his work in the Art Deco period between 1912 and pre-war, although I think he retired in 1947. But anyway, so if this is one of his, then it's 100 years old or so, and it's very similar to one which has been signed by him, but this one has not been signed. It doesn't have anything underneath, sadly, but it does look very similar to one which is definitely one of his.
Well, this is the job that just gets worse every time I come back to it. I decided I needed to get that bottom step up because part of it was just spongy, and it's so lucky I did. There's what I think is wet rot, fungus, and soft timber, which I've scraped. I've pretty much scraped the soft timber out now. I'm going to take it outside, give it a good clean off, clean the area, take the old concrete pad off, and I'll have to replace that. And the step that went on top of this plinth is going to have to be replaced completely because it's too far gone. I just can't save it, which is a shame, but that's life. Sometimes things can't be rescued. The newel post is just sitting in mid-air at the minute, and there's rot inside it, so there's more to pull out here and try and rescue. But that's where we are at the minute. Just in time for Jane to turn up.
Something bad happened.
Oh, well, I'm fairly sure it was wet rot on here. Okay. And yeah, I've scraped a lot of it out. There's still a bit here along this long crack in the wood. But oh look, there's another lizard. I rescued a very dusty lizard.
Right.
And now there's another one under there.
Okay.
And I had to wash the other one off outside.
Is he alive?
Yeah. Come on.
He's quite sweet, isn't he?
Don't know if the camera can see the second lizard. I don't know what kind of lizard this is. It feels quite cold on my fingertip. It's not the kind of lizard that runs up the walls super fast. So it obviously likes a bit of a damp space, a bit of a rotten wood environment. All I can do is put it where I found the other one. I don't know which environment it's meant to live in. But it is alive, but it is tiny, as you can see. Godzilla. Whilst David was working in the back kitchen, my sister had been busily tidying the bibliothèque. You can't get away from the sound of that SDS hammer drill.
Is that what you've got David doing?
Yeah.
Yes. So, well, we're starting going from the top down, so we've done this area, and we're moving slowly across. We'll do the fireplace, keep going round, and then floor gets a proper finish, and the room is have the once over.
Nessa and Jeannie did amazing work cleaning and dusting the bibliothèque. They then moved on to the kitchen, as it was long overdue a good de-cherubing.
The Cherub King was dethroned without a fight.
They also bubble wrapped the glass kugels for safekeeping.
The moment that perhaps none of you have been waiting for.
So in terms of what this might be worth, well, I can reveal that the same one went to auction fairly recently, and I think their guide price was 75 to 100 euros. But in the same auction, in the next lot, was one which had the Sèvres sort of emblem and has like a kind of, I won't say plinth, but anyway, like a piece stuck on the bottom which says Sèvres, and was signed by the artist Gouverneur. And that one was going up for sale in a range of 250 to 350 euros. So if it is a Gouverneur, then you can get it as a bargain. If it's not a Gouverneur, then, well, it's something else entirely. But somebody thought it was very similar. But what I really love about it is the naturalness of the pose and the fact that it's plump and it's not particularly elegant. Most of Gouverneur's art is actually a lot more stylized and elegant and sinuous and fine lined than this, but he definitely did do a fluffed up bird. But I think that's quite interesting because most of his stuff is finely drawn statues and vases and things like that. But anyway, it's adorable. It's not going anywhere. It's staying right here.
I've been digging around here in the back kitchen trying to expose the pipe. This is the pipe from the shower upstairs that was leaking all over here when this got broken when we ripped up the plinth. So I've managed to get cut back to expose it. I believe these are old copper pipes that aren't in use anymore. And so I'm thinking that if I can cut this pipe here, I might be able to join onto it and reconnect it. Some good has come of today. The invasion had begun. I just caught this fella under the front door trying to get in. I'm going to put him back in the garden, maybe spin him round 20 times so he's discombobulated. Off you go, off you go. And none of you, we don't need you. Come on, come Bunty. So, did we get a bargain, or was this money down the proverbial and literal toilet? We bought for €70. We found a UK seller with a very similar Zone L with an asking price of £2,675. There is another Zone L for sale in America with an asking price of $3,995. I think we bought a bargain, but we're not selling. We plan to install it in the ground floor suite when we get round to creating it. We'll be able to bring a new meaning to the phrase, getting in the zone. Thanks for all your help, Terry. Thank you for watching our video. Please like and subscribe. It really does help. Although, to be perfectly honest, Percy couldn't care either way.